Hi community! If you're anything like me, finding a horror sci-fi new series to binge upon is quite the challenge. If you look up online, most lists are comprised of shows that we've probably already seen before. So today I compiled a top 10 list of my favorite horror or sci-fi series currently running. I try to keep this list to series that have just started airing in the last couple years. I arranged these series in no particular order, so let's get to it. The Leftovers. If you haven't yet seen HBO's The Leftovers, stop what you're doing and put it on the top of your must-watch TV series right now. Despite what the name might lead you to believe, this is not a television show about what's in your fridge. When 2% of the world's population suddenly disappear without an explanation, the world struggles to come to grips with what has happened. 3 years later, The Leftovers is a story about the people that didn't make the cut. The Leftovers is created by Damon Lindelof, the man who co-created Lost. So undoubtedly, there's going to be times in this series that leave you with more questions than answers. But as the series further develops and you learn more about characters' pasts, things will, albeit slightly, begin to fall in place. Trust me, you'll be addicted to the show before you even know it. There have been 10 episodes so far, and the second season is set to air sometime this year. The 100. When nuclear Armageddon destroys civilization on Earth, the only survivors are those who are in the 12 international space stations that are in orbit at the time. 3 generations later, the 4,000 survivors now living on a space ark begin to see their resources dwindle and face draconian measures established to make sure humanity survives. Desperately looking for a solution, the Ark's leader sends down 100 juvenile prisoners to test the planet's habitability, in hopes of possibly repopulating the planet. The show originally airs on the CW network, but the first season and its 13 episodes can be viewed on Netflix. The show is currently airing its second season, and the mid-season premiere airs January 21st. In total, there are 21 episodes available to be binge-watched. Penny Dreadful. Some of literature's most terrifying characters, including Dr. Frankenstein, Dorian Gray, and iconic characters from the novel Dracula, come together for this new series set in Victorian London. Penny Dreadful is a psychological thriller that weaves together these classic horror stories into a single, frightening storyline. There are 8 episodes so far, and the second season is set to air sometime this year on Showtime. American Horror Story. Each season is its own mini-series with an independent storyline. 49 episodes have aired so far from the making of this video. The first season is subtitled The Murder House and takes place in Los Angeles in 2011. This season centers around a family who's seeking a fresh start move into a restored mansion. But shortly after moving in, the family discovers several brutal murders have taken place there. After a series of increasingly disturbing events, the family realizes they may not be the only occupants of this cursed home. Season 2, dubbed Asylum, takes place within the walls of an insane asylum during the 60s. This season dives into the dark past of the patients and the workers of the hospital. This season has many subplots that cover everything from crazed scientists to demonic possessions and even the possibility of extraterrestrials. Be prepared for a crazy ride. Season 3 is the Season of the Witch. Subtitled Coven, the story follows the young attendees of a secret boarding house for young witches in New Orleans. There's not much else I can tell you without risking spoilers, but I will say 2 of the most prevalent themes of this season is revenge and power, and lots and lots and lots of violence. The 4th season is currently airing on FX and is subtitled Freak Show. Set in the sleepy town of Jupiter, Florida in the 50s, the story follows a troop of curiosities as they arrive in town at the same time as a serial killer emerges from the shadows. This season is more violent and gory than all 3 previous seasons put together. The Strain. Based on the popular trilogy by the same name from author Chuck Hogan, The Strain is a high-concept thriller that follows the story of Dr. Ephraim Goodweather, the head of the CDC Canary team in New York City. He and his team are called upon to investigate the mysterious viral outbreak, with hallmarks of an ancient and evil strain of vampirism. As the strain begins to spread, F, his team, and an assembly of everyday New Yorkers wage war for the fate of humanity. Don't roll your eyes at the V word. This isn't the romanticized version of vampires that you've seen so much of lately. These suckers, pun, are straight up nasty looking. I'm talking about gross, monster looking, truly scary vampires that only want to rip your face off. Of course, there's more to this series than just vampires. The plot delves into F's personal life with his estranged wife and young son. I highly recommend giving the series a shot, especially if you're into detective-style shows. Season 1 wrapped up this last October and is comprised of 13 episodes. Season 2 is set to air this summer on FX. Extant. After spending a year living in space all by herself, astronaut Molly Watts, played by Oscar winner Halle Berry, returns to Earth and begins reconnecting with her husband John, who is a gifted scientist, and her unique son Ethan. Although she is merely one woman, Molly finds that her experiences in space and in her personal life will lead to events that will eventually change the course of human history forever, because Molly returns pregnant. The series airs on CBS, but with its insane budget, A-list cast, and famed producer Steven Spielberg, you'd think it aired on HBO or Showtime. So far, there have been 13 episodes that have aired, and Season 2 is set to premiere in July. The Walking Dead. I couldn't not mention one of the biggest horror series on television right now, and that happens to be one of my favorite shows currently airing. Based on the comic book series written by Robert Kirkman, this gritty drama portrays life after the zombie apocalypse. Led by police officer Rick Grimes, his family and a group of other survivors constantly find themselves on the move in search of safety. But the pressure each day to stay alive sends some of the group members to the deepest depth of human cruelty. And Rick discovers the overwhelming fear of the group members can be more terrifying and dangerous than the zombies themselves. Each season presents a new challenge to the ever-changing group, as well as a new villain that we all can hate, or sometimes like. With the zombie series in its 5th season, there are 60 episodes available to be binged upon before the mid-season premiere on February 8th on AMC. Being Human. Being Human, based on the BBC series by the same name, follows 3 20-something roommates who try to keep a secret from the rest of the world. One is a ghost, one is a vampire, and one is a werewolf. The 3 roommates try to help one another as they navigate the complexities of living a double life. Being Human is about just that. Trying to be a human being. Sadly, the show did get canceled in its 4th season, but the writers made sure to finish the stories before the last episode ended. So don't worry, there won't be any unresolved storylines that will leave you frustrated. There are 52 amazing episodes that you can get your heartstrings pulled over. While this series may not necessarily be a new show and it's the only one on this list not currently airing, I think this show is a real hidden gem that needs to be shared. Z Nation. Who doesn't need a new zombie show to binge on? 3 years after a zombie virus sweeps through America, there's only one person known to have survived the infection. The world's last hope at creating a vaccine. The last functioning viral lab needs his blood for his antibodies. But the facility is in California and the man is in New York. A ragtag group of survivors work to transport this man to the West Coast, but they don't know about his dark secret that could threaten them all. Hammond and his second-in-command Garrett lead the group of the living to the West Coast, and computer hacker Citizen Z helps everyone navigate the zombie-infested terrain. This series originally airs on the Sci-Fi Network and has 13 episodes available to be binged on. The 2nd season has been confirmed, but no date has been released on when it will be released. Hannibal. In just 26 episodes, Hannibal has developed a die-hard fan base. Gifted criminal profile Will Graham has a unique way of thinking that allows him to empathize with anybody, including psychopaths. But while helping the FBI investigate a particularly complicated serial killer, he decides he could use some help and enlists the brilliant psychiatrist Hannibal Lecter. The two form a partnership, and it seems like there is no criminal they can't catch together. But Lecter harbors a dark secret. His own mind has gone to the dark side, and he has more in common with the criminals that they hunt than Will could possibly ever imagine. The series originally airs on NBC, and the 3rd season is set to air sometime this year. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope that I have given you guys a new series, or 2 or 3 or 4, hopefully 10, that you guys can now binge upon. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not yet part of the RAD community, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and join today. Until next time, bye!